Picture this, a sunny day, a crowded park, and a family picnic in full swing. Suddenly, a tiny, harmless spider scurries across the picnic blanket. Panic ensues. A day of joy and laughter instantly clouded by fear. This is not just any fear, but an irrational fear, a phobia. Today's story is about an unexpected encounter with a spider at a family picnic. You might be wondering, why a spider? Well, the fear of spiders, or arachnophobia, is one of the most common phobias worldwide. It's a fascinating example of how our mind can amplify the threat of something relatively harmless into a terrifying monster. It's a sunny day. The park is filled with people. And yet, a tiny eight-legged creature can cause a wave of panic. The spider, oblivious to the chaos it caused, continues on its way. But why did such a tiny creature cause such a disproportionate reaction? Stay tuned as we delve into the psychology of fear and phobias. Most of us can relate to that story on some level because we all have fears, but not all fears are phobias. You see, fear is a natural response to a perceived threat, an instinctual alarm system ingrained in us from our earliest ancestors. Phobias, on the other hand, are intense, irrational fears that persist even when the threat is non-existent or minimal. Underneath it all is our brain's fear center, the amygdala. When we encounter something threatening, the amygdala springs into action, triggering a cascade of physiological responses. Our hearts pound, our palms sweat, and adrenaline surges. It's all part of the fight or flight response. But what happens when this fear response goes awry? Sometimes a one-time experience can lead to a conditioned fear response. Think of a child who gets bitten by a dog, and from then on feels terror at the sight of any dog. This conditioned fear can grow into a phobia if left unchecked. It's also worth noting that our genes and environment play a role in shaping our fears and phobias. For instance, if a parent has a phobia, their child is more likely to develop one too. And traumatic events or high-stress environments can also make us more susceptible to phobias. Understanding our fears and phobias is the first step to overcoming them. But rest assured, there are effective strategies out there, and we'll delve into those next. Stay tuned. So, you've identified your phobia. What now? Well, understanding the problem is the first step. But now comes the challenging part, tackling it head-on. There are numerous strategies to overcome phobias, but today we'll focus on two of the most effective methods, exposure therapy and cognitive behavioral therapy. Exposure therapy is based on the principle of face your fear. It involves gradually and repeatedly exposing yourself to the object or situation that scares you. For example, if you have a fear of heights, you might start by looking at pictures of tall buildings, then maybe visit a low balcony, and eventually you might find yourself at the top of a skyscraper. It's about taking small, manageable steps to desensitize your fear response over time. On the other hand, cognitive behavioral therapy, or CBT, tackles phobias from a slightly different angle. It's about changing your thought patterns and beliefs related to your fear. A therapist might help you challenge irrational thoughts like, all spiders are deadly, or every plane is going to crash. By reframing these thoughts, you can reduce your fear response and begin to feel more in control. Now, it's important to remember that everyone's journey is different. Some people might find success with one method, while others may need a combination of both. Remember, overcoming a phobia is a journey, not a destination. It takes time, patience, and often professional help.